The new SWM TRAV'LER antenna is compatible with DirecTV SWM technology without additional accessories. The SWM TRAV'LER antenna has some differences in features and installation as compared to the SK3005. The SWM TRAV'LER antenna features a single LMB which looks at 3 satellites. An advantage of this LMB is that it uses a single coax connection as opposed to the 4 coax connections available on the SK3005 model. Because of the single coax connection, there are some important differences in how to connect one or more receivers. Included with the antenna are a 21-volt SWM power inserter and a splitter. The power inserter is used to supply 21 volts DC to the LMB. The splitter is used to connect multiple receivers, with each receiver, even DVRs, only requiring a single cable connection. The power inserter and splitter can be arranged in 2 different ways, referred to in the manual as Setup Option 1, the most common and recommended setup, and Setup Option 2, an alternative setup in which the splitter is arranged above the power inserter. No matter which setup option is followed, only port C should be used for making connections to the mount base. Because there is only one output on the SWM LMB which connects to port C, only port C is used. In the case of an installation with multiple receivers, the receivers will connect to the mount base via the provided splitter. Ports A and B will not be used. In the first setup option, a cable runs from port C of the TRAV'LER antenna to the power to SWM port of the power inserter. The power inserter must always be installed inside the vehicle. A coax cable then runs from the signal to IRD port of the power inserter to the in from SWM port of the splitter. Cables then run from the splitter to each receiver. If the receiver is a dual tuner with multiple inputs, make sure to connect to the port labeled SWM. The power inserter is then plugged into a 110-volt outlet. If hooking up the antenna to only one receiver, the splitter is not needed. If the splitter is needed, terminate unused splitter outputs with a 75 ohm termination cap. The second setup option is similar to the first setup option. In this setup, a coax cable runs from port C of the TRAV'LER antenna to the in from SWM port of the splitter, which can be mounted on the roof of the vehicle. This enables you to drop wires in multiple locations. A cable then connects from the out 1 port of the splitter to the power to SWM port of the power inserter, which is plugged into a 110-volt outlet. Since the out 1 port of the splitter is the only power passive port, the power inserter must be connected to this port. The signal to IRD port of the power inserter should then connect to a receiver, and all other ports of the splitter can connect to receivers. Once the unit has been installed and all cables connected, the top line on the TRAV'LER interface screen will display LG DTV SWM 3. A successful search will show satellites 101, 99, and 103 with an asterisk on the bottom line of the interface screen. During receiver setup, the switch type should be set for 01 SWM, and the dish type should be set for 17 SWM line 3S. For additional information on the SWM TRAV'LER antenna, visit www.winegard.com/TRAV'LER.